This is Ari for UHA Locksmith. We are unboxing turbo decoder for Ford HU101. Inside the box, you're gonna have the turbo decoder and a couple of these little tools, or I'm not really sure what their names, but they will help you to zero the tool. It will be demonstrated in a second. In here, you have a tiny little booklet where you can write down the numbers for the keys, for the cuts. All right, so Ford one is a little different than the others. Why? Because while most of the others you have to actually pull that lever out in order to push, to zero them, in a Ford you need to push it in order to get access to these tiny little spacers. Now, we're gonna push in here. We're gonna push it all the way inside, carefully. I have used this thing, so this should, at least a couple of them should go all the way back. There you go, a little pressure I can feel against it. And the last one, give me a little bit of issue. All right, I think I just did it on the wrong place. It happens. Just be careful, be gentle with this tool. Again, we change it into the other side where there are 6 cuts. All right. Now basically we are pushing all of those tiny little notches into the number 1 position, where you can easily go inside the lock and will be moved backwards as it see fit in order to turn the lock in. Now, one thing you have to remember, when you put the tool inside the door lock, it must be lever in. If not, you will destroy that tool. A lot of people do that mistake. It's a very easy mistake to make. When you pull it out or push it in, must have this lever all the way inside, covering all the notches here. When you put it inside the door lock, you have to make sure it's closed. This is how it looks open, this is how it looks closed. So, because it doesn't have any rotation, you try both sides. If it doesn't work after 2 minutes, you take it out and try to poke that tiny little tool again. If it moves something, which means that you were on the right side, just did it wrong. If it doesn't move, then you have to turn it to the other side. So basically, you want to try the one with more pins on the top first, because usually that would be the case. Sometimes they're a little rusty. I'm gonna use my actual vehicle key. It's recommended to use oil, like WD-40. It's not a must. So we make sure the wafers are a little exercised. Sometimes people just use the remote.
Yeah, I'll use it.
So, all right, let's try the other side. We don't do it with too much power. Just put attention. I don't feel much, so it might be on the other side, but for the sake of trying, now it didn't work. I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna pull those pins in. If it moves something, I know I was on the right place. something, but it might not be on the right. Alright, so actually it did move, which is good. So it was in the right place, I believe. Alright, now it's smoother. Now it will actually tell me if it's completely wrong or it's not. Yeah. It's definitely the 4 on the top. Just need to be a little more exercised, as you never really much using that lock. Find my WD-40 for the next one. Not gonna be successful. Alright, so
There you go.
as you can see, what we're doing right now is we are making sure I'm exercising this thing so I be able to know what the code is straight up from looking at the decoder. A lot of people forget to put this before they take it out and they destroy it straight up when they come out. Okay, so we picked the door lock. Now, how do we make a key? Of course, we're taking the door lock. We have to remember that we are pushing in that tiny little lever here. Now we're gonna push it out in order to find out what are the cuts. So we know there are 10 cuts in here. 10 cuts on the door on the new Ford. You have 1, 2, and then you have here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if you look closely, you can see there are grooves embedded inside. So this would be the lower cut. Lowest cut would be 5. This would be number 2. So it will be 5, 4, 3, 2, and all the way up, it's a no cut. Now, this one is next to a number 4. Now, what do we know about this? It must be number 2, not number 1. Why? First of all, aside of the fact that it is actually, on that line, is because there are no more than 2 steps between cuts in a Ford. So, if we're gonna start from the top position, it's better though to look at the deepest cuts first, so you get some kind of grip of which one is what. Because if you see those two look like the same, so it's gonna be very hard to tell at the beginning. It's better off to see something that is a lot clearer and it's right next to the groove itself. Now, so here is number 1 cut, because it goes all the way up, and this is a number 2. It's exactly the same height as this. So you have 2, 1, and then you have 1, and then 1 again, and then you have 2, 4, 5, 3, 2, 4. And that should give us the code for that specific vehicle. It's very simple. You just have to be careful when you measure that. Now, as I said, as long, like, you need to look for one of the deepest cuts in order to make the difference between them.